Hello. I'm gonna do something different today. I'm a little worried that there's a lot of people on the internet and a lot of people, young people, old people, doesn't really matter, all types of people who are worried about some sort of the SOPA or SEPA or bill that could be passed or doesn't really matter. That in a way does influence the internet if it does get passed, but I think a lot of people don't understand how bills turn into laws and that whole process. So I googled this this thing, how a bill becomes a law, and it's designed to teach American children how a bill turns into a law. That is it's a pretty cool website. It's an official government website that put it together. So I'm gonna start reading it. I'm rendering it now. Hopefully the sound comes out fine. Hey Charlie. But I am seeing a bit of a video frame rate issue because I'm rendering a video and it's not a good idea. So, how a bill becomes a law. Creating laws in the U.S. House of Representatives is the most important job. All laws in the United States begin as bills. Before a bill can become a law, it must be approved by the U.S. House of Representatives, the U.S. Senate, and the President. And just to back up a little bit, there are currently about 516, I think, House of Representatives. There are 100 senators, 2 per state, and there's 1 president. The reason that there's 516 House of Representatives is at some point in American history, it seemed like a good idea that some states might have more people. So to account for that, they needed more representatives. And at some point, they decided to stop that because it would just be a crazy number of representatives. So they stopped that at that number, I think 516. The bill begins. Laws begin as ideas. These ideas may come from a representative or from a citizen like you or me, if you are in the United States. Citizens who have ideas for laws can contact the representatives to discuss their ideas. Everyone living in the United States of America has their representative in Congress. You can look this up to find out which district of your state, who's the representative of your district, who's representative of your state's, your district, blah, blah, blah. If the representatives agree, they research the idea and write them into bills. The bill is proposed. When a representative has written the bill needs a sponsor. The representative talks with other representatives the bill in hopes of getting their support for it. So one citizen comes up with an idea, shares it with a representative. The representative likes the idea. He goes out and gets more representatives. The more people you have, the more support you have for something. If the representatives agree, once a bill has a sponsor and the support of some of the representatives, it is ready to be introduced. The bill is introduced. In the U.S. House of Representatives, a bill is introduced when it is placed in the hopper, a special box on the side of the clerk's desk. Only representatives can introduce bills in the U.S. House of Representatives, naturally, because it is the House of Representatives. It's only filled with representatives. When a bill is introduced in the U.S. House of Representatives, a bill clerk assigns it a number that begins with HR. So this particular law, SOPA something, it's HR, SOPA, I don't know, I don't really care. I'll keep going with this, but that it's not going to pass. You'll find out why it's not going to pass. But there's a lot of people who there's just a lot of misinformation and disinformation, and I don't know why, but people like chaos. A reading clerk then reads the bill to all the representatives, and the Speaker of the House sends the bill to one of the House standing committees. The bill goes to a committee. That's the title of the next paragraph. When the bill reaches the committee members, group of representatives who are experts on topics such as agriculture, education, or international relations, review, research, and revise the bill before voting on whether or not to send the bill back to the House floor. If the committee members would like more information before deciding if the bill should be sent to the House floor, the bill is sent to a subcommittee When in a subcommittee, the bill is closely examined and expert opinions are gathered before it is sent back to the committee for approval. Now, I want to pause it here and explain this to what I gather about some of the world governments and other forms of government. This is what makes the United States government very, very unique and very clever in a way, because there's so many checks and balances where one person cannot just do something. There's so many different people checking it out, and it's going to be to ultimately make sure that it's a good idea. The next part, the bill is reported. When the committee has approved the bill, it is sent or reported to the House floor. Once reported, a bill is ready to be debated by the U.S. House of Representatives. The bill is debated. When a bill is debated, representatives discuss the bill and explain why they agree or disagree with it. Then a reading clerk reads the bill section by section, and the representatives recommend changes. When all changes have been made, the bill is ready to be voted on. The bill is voted on. There are three methods for voting on a bill in the U.S. House of Representatives. Viva voce, voice vote. The Speaker of the House asks the representatives who support the bill to say aye, and those that oppose it to say no, and obviously they count. Division. The Speaker of the House asks those representatives who support the bill to stand up, so people would stand up and they would be counted. And then those who oppose the bill stand up and be counted, so they count the people who are against it and the people who are not against it by having the people stand up and sit down. There's a lot of people, so you have to be smart, and that seems like a good way of doing it. Recorded. Representatives record their vote using electronic voting system. Representatives can vote yes, no, or present if they don't want to vote on the bill. So a lot of representatives, a lot of politicians, in some cases, for a lot of different reasons, and some of those reasons, I'm sorry to say, but some of those reasons, some of the politicians don't vote on certain things is because they're afraid they are not going to get reelected, and they do it out of their ego because they don't want to, because their voters might disagree with them, so they don't vote. So, but there is that possibility of people being there and not saying yes or no. If a majority of the representatives say or select yes, the bill passes in the U.S. House of Representatives. The bill is then certified by the clerk of the House and delivered to the U.S. Senate. So after the U.S. House of Representatives, the bill has to go to the United States Senate, where you have 100 senators who more or less are going to be doing the exact same thing. And we're going to scroll down a little bit. When a bill is referred to the state, when a bill reaches the U.S. Senate, it goes through many of the same steps it went through in the U.S. House of Representatives. The bill is discussed in the Senate committee and then reported to the Senate floor to be voted on. Senators vote by voice. Those who support the bill say yeah, and those who oppose it say nay. There's a way to pronounce that properly. I'm sorry, I can't do it. If the majority of the senators say yes, the bill passes in the U.S. Senate and is ready to go to the United States President. Now, this is the part where the U.S. President already said that if this bill were to ever reach his desk, he will not sign it. The bill is sent to the President. When a bill reaches the President, he has three choices he can make. Three choices. Sign and pass the bill, and the bill becomes a law. In this particular case, if this bill were to actually become a law, it would be a violation of the United States constitutional First Amendment right, the freedom of speech. And then it would be taken up to the United States Supreme Court, because in the United States you have three branches of government: the judicial, the executive, and legislative. The legislative branch has two branches: the United States Senate, and the House of Representatives. 2. Refuse to sign or veto the bill. The bill is sent back to the U.S. House of Representatives along with the President's reasons for the veto. So he might say no and give a reason why, and then send it back. If the U.S. House of Representatives and the U.S. Senate still believe the bill should become a law, that can happen. they can hold another vote on the bill, and if 2/3 of the representatives and the senators support the bill, the president's veto is overridden and the bill becomes a law. Now, the third choice that can happen, do nothing, and it's called pocket veto. Again, if the president feels that by him saying yes or no might send some kind of message, and it's a bit of a controversial bill, he can do that. And again, with the voters and stuff like that, he or she might not get reelected. If the Congress is in session, the bill automatically becomes a law after 10 days. If the Congress is not in session, the bill does not become a law. So if they really want to pass this and the president does nothing, they have to remain in session. They cannot go on holiday and go to the Bahamas and have their martinis and go party mode. They have to stay in Congress for 10 days. They have to stay in, ultimately Washington, D.C. The bill is a law if a bill has passed in both the U.S. House of Representatives, the U.S. Senate, and has been approved by the president, or if the presidential veto has been overridden. The bill becomes a law and is enforced by the government. So there's my take on how a bill becomes a law. For some of the people who feel that they feel strong emotion, either positive or negative, about this current SOPA, SEPA, whatever, it's a little frustrating for me to see a lot of misinformation, a lot of I don't know. Okay, so that's that. I hope it was informative and it was educational, and I hope you learned something. That sometimes, well, sometimes don't follow the crowd. Don't be afraid to not follow the crowd. I mean, sometimes they're wrong.